Well, first up, we're getting in some big news. Vinesh Phogat's plea is being heard at the Court of Arbitration. That's the latest coming in right now. The hearing with the parties is being held today. The decision on Vinesh Phogat's plea is expected before the end of Olympics. So that's the latest. It's a huge update coming in that Vinesh Phogat's hearing has already begun. The latest development on this after Vinesh has appealed about getting a silver and following that huge disappointment when she missed out on the final bout following her being overweight by 100 grams. Now, most importantly, it's going to be Harish Salve who's representing Vinesh Phogat's entire case, and the question is whether he'll be able to salvage the Olympic silver for Vinesh Phogat. Ananya joins us for the very latest on this. Ananya, so the hearing has begun. Tell us a little bit more, the appeal to the CAS after Paris's disqualification, and tell us a little bit more as to how Harish Salve is going to be representing her.
Well, definitely, the hearing has not begun, but the court has accepted, in fact, the case filed by Vinesh Phogat in this particular case. The ad hoc division registered the application filed by Vinesh Phogat. The case was filed by Vinesh Phogat versus the Union World Wrestling International Olympic Committee is what, in fact, the petition goes on to say. In fact, it says that the decision of the United World Wrestling Federation have been replacing Vinesh Phogat after the failed second weigh-in is something that is being challenged before, in fact, the Court of Arbitration for Sports. And a replacement occurred before a women's freestyle 50 kg gold is what has been mentioned. No kind of interim request has been made, but only a request for urgent hearing was put up, and fast procedure, but decision on merits not possible within an hour is what, in fact, the court had gone on to say that the matter has been referred, in fact, to one of the judge who hails from Australia and is called Dr. Annabelle Bennett. And now, this hearing would actually be taking place today. The decision is expected before the end of the Olympic Games, is what has been stated in this, diktat that is coming, in fact, from the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Very clearly and categorically, senior advocate Harish Salve to represent, Vinesh Phogat. He will be making submissions with regards to how, Phogat can actually qualify for, in fact, a joint silver medal. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out and whether or not some kind of relief is granted, in fact, to Vinesh Phogat.
Oh, absolutely. And the Indian contingent also working very diligently to get the best to represent Vinesh Phogat. Harish Salve himself, a noted lawyer, someone who comes with an impeccable record. Tell us a little bit more about how, he agreed to represent Vinesh and also, talk about the disqualification case at the Court of the Arbitration.
Well, top members of the IOC, the Indian Olympic Commission, the committee, were actually a part of this whole negotiation process that took place with the senior council, the King's Council, in fact. And very categorically, he was asked to appear in this particular case. And hence, very clearly and categorically at this particular point of time, Mr. Salve is one of the best legal minds when it comes to international disputes, whether, if you remember, the Kulbhushan Jadhav case where he had taken only 1 rupee as a fee, or whether it's, in fact, today's Vinesh Phogat's disqualification from the Olympics is something that has been dealt in by the Supreme, by, in fact, the Court of Arbitration of Sports. Mr. Salve remains to be one of the finest choices because he is not only the finest counsel in the country, but also is the King's Counsel of the UK.
Yes,
and hence, that qualifies him to be one of the finest lawyers that India can send for Vinesh Phogat. And definitely, this is an effort that was done by the officials of the Indian Olympic contingent there. And very clearly and categorically, a hearing would also be taking place today. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out and whether or not Vinesh Phogat is able to secure relief from the court there.
No, you're right. I mean, he is someone who has a stellar record of handling some very high-profile cases. Ananya, I just want to understand from you that what exactly is he going to be fighting for on behalf of Vinesh Phogat, the disqualification, or seeking to be awarded the joint silver medal after she was disqualified?
Well, he will be asking for a joint silver medal because remember that the earlier request for her to actually contest the finals has already been denied by the COAS, and we'll have to wait and watch as to whether or not what kind of arguments would Mr. Salvi be presenting before the Court of Arbitration of Sports. This is a judge from Australia who is, hailing the panel that would be arbitrating on Vinesh Phogat's issue, and. At this particular point of time, no immediate relief has been sought, but a joint silver medal was something that was demanded with regards to Vinesh Phogat from, in fact, the Indian contingent and the Indian side. But what happens next, whether or not this relief is granted, is something that we'll have to wait and watch for.
Absolutely. And when can we expect to hear from about this case? Is it going to happen after the Olympics end or before that?
Well, as per, in fact, this release that has come in, and I'll read that particular part of, in fact, that, press media release that has been issued, in fact, by the COAS. It has been stated that the matter has been referred to Honorable Dr. Annabel Bennett, SCSC of Australia, sitting as a sole arbitrator who will hold the hearing with the parties today. The sole arbitrator's decision is expected to be issued before the end of the Olympics game is only what has been stated. So we'll have to wait and watch. We'll get to know in some time as to whether at what time will the court be hearing this particular matter today. As per my information that was issued earlier, the hearing is likely to take place around 5:30 p.m. as per Indian Standard Time. But we'll have to confirm that is not here on, in fact, the official press release. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out and whether this hearing begins at 5:30 p.m. itself.
All right. So